Mal, perhaps the last word for you. What have you seen examples where one has won out or the other has won out? Should we see companies having a chief social media executive on the board? Is that the sort of thing that would drive a change?
I think the fundamental thing is leadership. I think that leaders, by definition, create culture. They facilitate culture, is probably a better way. I think a leader is someone who articulates a vision, maps out a strategy, marshals activity, and in doing so creates an environment in which people can flourish and be creative. So they have a vision of the preferred future, they develop a strategy to carry us into that future. The strategy may have to change from time to time, but it's there, it's clear to everybody. They bring the right people into the enterprise to help achieve that strategy, and in doing all of the above, they create a milieu, as the French would say, to enable people to feel confident to be inventive.
What happens if events don't let you do that? So, for example, last night GoPro said that it was going to have to cut 7% of its workforce because it hadn't managed to sell enough of its little action cameras in the fourth quarter. In that sort of situation, the culture might have been sort of happy-go-lucky for a while, and suddenly the strategy is having to change. Again, what wins out there?
Well, the culture has to change too. I think somebody's already said that. There has to be a culture of change, you said, David. There has to constantly be an openness to change within the culture. It's not something that threatens the culture. It's within the culture. We weren't expecting this change. We weren't hoping for it, but we're able to cope with it. And then the strategy has to change to match that, or it has to be accommodated. The culture has to accommodate a new form of strategy.
And do you think any of the generations currently in work, we have those who are just starting to enter work now at the age of 19, for whom the smartphone has always been there, it's always been an interactive digital world. What are they having to? It's my alarm. It's telling me to stop. Which generations are best suited for this world of constant change, do you think?
Well, the millennials, 20 to 34 in this country, are used to change. They're digitized from birth, globalized from birth, urbanized from birth, most of them. But now the interesting generation for me is the one under that, the 19 and unders. We call them Generation Edge, and they're only just starting to appear in the research internationally. And they're a very pragmatic generation, where millennials are more idealistic. These young people are more pragmatic. And for them, interestingly to me, they see the digital space as a space to reform, as a space to rebel. If you look in the UK over the last 10 years, the rates of alcohol and drug abuse among teenagers have decreased steadily for the past 10 years. And I think, I'm yet to prove this, but I think from our reading of the research, this has partly to do with the fact that these kids are seeing the digital space as their space and the space where they will bring change. So for them, a whistleblower is often a hero, because the little guy stood up to the big guys using digital technology. So it's a reformist generation, and in that sense, it's more likely to be friendly to change, particularly if that change takes in the digital space.
Terrific. Gentlemen, I'm afraid we're out of time, but I'd like to thank you all. Irfan Khan from SAP, Pierre Wojcik from McDonald's formerly, Mal Fletcher, social futurist, and David Tomczak from 10 Downing Street. I'm Charles Arthur. Thank you very much for your time.